David Brewster here with another 3 for All, and this is 3 Russ Parrish licks from 2020. Now, most people watching this probably know Russ from his stage persona because he's Satchel from Steel Panther. But Russ is a West Coast, shred guitar legend. GIT grad, studied with Paul Gilbert. He was actually Paul Gilbert's roommate, and they worked together in the Electric Fence, which was Paul Gilbert's kind of LA cover band, and they played a bunch of 70s, classic rock. And I actually have a couple bootlegs on VHS of Electric Fence, gigs. I think one was actually at MI, and then another was at a club. But it was really cool to see Gilbert, in this kind of fake character. Russ played bass. I think, Jeff Martin played drums. So, it was a really interesting, trio kind of band. But Russ, went on to play with Fight, with Rob Halford, and then became a member of Steel Panther. And Steel Panther was technically, in the early nucleus. I think Russ was in a Rush cover band. He was also in a Van Halen tribute band, the Atomic Punks. And then they slowly just kind of morphed into Steel Panther. So it's really interesting to notice, a cover band that was just dominating, clubs in LA. They literally turned into a real band. The licks in this lesson actually came from a live concert 2 nights ago. It was in Destin, Florida, and Steel Panther is gigging again. And let's be honest, 2020 really has sucked. So, I was actually putting together a different lesson, and then I stumbled upon, I'm a member of a Steel Panther Facebook group, and somebody posted this footage of Satchel's, guitar solo. And I thought, hey, this is from this year, that's cool. And I've already featured Russ. I did a 3 for All for him last year. I think it was last April. And here I am, repeating Russ Parrish again. But it really kind of hit me, and I thought, this is brand new. It just happened a couple nights ago. The licks are cool, but also I just thought it was kind of a good way to send off 2020, which has been kind of a bad year. And I just thought, what, it's new, it's fresh, it's relevant. I was kind of looking for something shredding anyway. And here comes Satchel, on Facebook. All right, the first lick is this Diminished 7 arpeggio that's sequenced, and it's in the key of D, and it's really tasty. Something like this. One more time. And right there you can see we're basically playing, D diminished 7 arpeggios. Think of Randy Rhoads and some of those players. And he's starting right here, this B, A flat to that F right there. And he kind of grabs that B with some vibrato and then comes down the A flat to F. And then he starts doing a pull off right there. And then right there you want to ascend that arpeggio. When you get to that F note, then he starts pulling off like this, F to D to B. And then right there, you want to go down that arpeggio. So really slowly. And then you want to start it again, technically. The second time through it, you're only going to do that pull off right there twice on the top part. And the last time you just do it once and then end with that F to G bend. So really slowly. The next lick from the solo is this rolling C minor pentatonic idea, and it's up on the B and the high E string, something like this. One more time. And right there you can see we're technically starting out of the box, and this is kind of a weird fingering because you're kind of rolling your finger, from the B to the high E all the way through this lick. So slowly we're doing this. And there you can see we're grabbing this B flat to E flat and then pulling off to C. You're going to do that 3 times. And then basically go up to the next position of, C minor pentatonic, and now you're grabbing C, F, and E flat. Do that twice. And you're going to shift to the next position, and here you're basically grabbing E flat, G to F. And you're going to have to probably finger it something like that. I did notice in the footage that Russ wasn't really using his pinky, so I kind of, chose not to use my pinky either. So right there, you could basically use your third, middle, and index. And then the next position right here, we're basically grabbing B flat to G, and that F note up there. And you're gonna basically grab the C note, and I think you're bending like a step and a half. It's way up there. All right, so one more time, kind of slow. It's a weird lick. It's got this kind of strange, that kind of flicking pull-off motion. And that rolling technique's kind of weird too. Up next is this really cool tapping lick, and it's an obvious variation from a lick from Randy Rhoads' Flying High Again solo, and it's all major arpeggios, and it's something like this. One more time. So you can see we're starting here on the B string. We've got this B, D sharp, and F sharp, and that's going to function as B major. And you're going to play that 8 times. And then move down a string, keep everything the same, and you've got G, B, and D, and that's going to be G major. And do that 4 times. Then go down a string and up a fret, and now you've got E flat, G, and B flat, and that's going to function as E flat major, and do that 4 times. And then go down a string and up a fret one more time. And there you've got B, D sharp, and F sharp, so you're back at B major again. Really cool lick, and you can expand that all over the place. Okay, here's a bonus lick from this live solo, and it's actually the slapback delay kind of thing that Satchel's doing, or Russ is doing. But when I saw him doing it, and I saw he was using, this kind of slapback delay effect, almost like Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee, from Nuno, Betancourt. But I heard the effect, but then I liked the sequence and the what he created with that delay so much that I just decided to go ahead and just flesh it out without the delay. So this is going to make the lick much harder to play. But this is a killer, kind of warm up or workout, whether you're working on, your fret hand or your picking hand or a combination of both, but it's something like this. One more time. So basically, Russ is grabbing, it's D harmonic minor in the beginning right here. And he's letting the delay kind of do most of the work for him, because technically he's only playing this. And then you hear the repeat from the delay. And then he's descending right here. But it's technically the delay that's creating that second, repeat. I don't have the right setting there on my delay. But, if you actually pick through that and play it, physically perform it, that's tricky because you're ascending, the first 3 notes and then descending the second 3. So that's a great, kind of finger twister or workout. And then he moves to the high E string, and this is going to function as F major right here. So you have, and then move back here, and you're basically grabbing, B, C, and D, and then you're going to move up, to this C, D, and E. And that's going to function as C major right there. And then basically do the exact same thing on the high E string, and now this is going to revert back to F major again with this E, F, G, A kind of pattern. So I opted to kind of do like a half and half legato, half picked. I mean, you could pick all of those notes. You could also turn that into a legato workout and do everything legato. But, you know, I'm kind of doing it like this. So I'm literally picking the first two notes and then a hammer on. And then the same thing with the descending part too, with the pull-offs. Pick the first two and then pull off. And then do the exact same thing on every set. And then down here. And then over here. Alright, that's going to wrap this look at 3 Russ Parrish licks from 2020, and definitely Russ is a dynamic player. You know, I'm kind of a sucker for anybody related to Paul Gilbert, you know, whether it's Russ Parrish or Bruce Bouillet or, you know, any of them, Scott Travis, anybody related to Racer X or those 80s, you know, kind of LA days. I'm a sucker for that stuff. You know, I love it. And, you know, Russ is, you know, kind of misunderstood. I think it's all the jokes and the character that he plays because, you know, Satchel is kind of, let's be honest, I mean, he's kind of stupid as far as, you know, interviews and things he says and does. But, you know, if you strip all the jokes away, there's nothing funny about the way Satchel or Russ plays. I mean, there's no jokes about that. He's, you know, through and through a brilliant guitarist. But then I also have, you know, kind of a random sense of humor. And I love Steel Panther's just, you know, it's not politically correct. You know, it's very offensive, childish, and immature. But I love it because I love that kind of stuff. Monty Python and Spinal Tap and Saturday Night Live or whatever. You know, I love comedy almost as much as I love music. And they're brilliant. You know, they're hilarious on stage, the stage rants and the songs and the lyrics. But then when you really dive in and start listening to some of the guitar solos and riffs and some of those songs, it's like, man, that's great guitar work and great music. You know, all dressed up with this silly, you know, premise and backstory. But anyway, you know, great band. So anyway, leave some feedback and some comments. Please subscribe to Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know with more content and material. Thank you.